Hello and welcome to another video. In today's video I want to talk to you a bit about how and when to use CPL filters or circular polarizer filters. So let's first start off with how they work. The easiest explanation is just call it magic and you can skip to the next chapter. You twist the filter and it cuts out a certain type of light. If that's all you want to know, just skip ahead. But there's also a bit more scientific explanation for this. I'll also link an article down below that will describe it even further. But basically you have your normal light, which we all see, and you have polarized light. This is light that's being reflected by wet or metallic surfaces, and that's how we mostly see them. And the light that's refracted there is also called polarized light. And we have certain filters or items that we can use for our eyes to cut out that light. And when we display that image back or view it back, for example with an image, you capture it with a polarizing filter, then it cuts out the light. And then on your computer or on any other place where you view that image afterwards, you can see it with embedded in the image without the polarized light. And that's the only way for us to really see it. So you can also compare it to sunglasses or anything that cuts out that certain type of light. And it does so by a certain way that the molecules are embedded in the filter. They are all in a parallel line or a certain direction that cuts out the polarized light when you twist it. So as I mentioned before, I will link an even more in-depth article down below. So feel free to read that if you want to. But now I'm just gonna continue with a few pros and cons of the circular polarizer filters, because it's not useful in every situation and it has its advantages and disadvantages to work with. So first of all, the pros or the advantages of CPL filters. You can cut out reflections, and that's from wet or reflecting surfaces. For example, when you have a lake, you can cut out the reflection that's in the lake when the water is standing still. Or for example, car windows, you can cut out the reflections or reflections in the paint. Then you can also, for landscape photography, you can cut through the haze that you have in certain mountain areas, and we are losing color due to haze in the background. And the third thing is that you can really take back some saturation into your image. So when you cut out the polarized light, you get some color back. This is often used to regain some color or some deep blue in the sky for a landscape shot. Now for the cons or disadvantages of CPL filters. It can create some inconsistencies in your images. For example, when you try to cut out a piece of the sky to get a deep blue color back, when you turn your filter, it can be that this is not applied to the complete sky. And this depends on the angle towards your light source or the sun, in landscape images mostly, because polarized light is more apparent in a certain angle to the light source. So this could mean that only half of your image, the sky, will turn blue, and then the other half it will remain the same as you see it normally. And the second con or disadvantage is that they only work under certain conditions, and that's mainly with natural light and depending on the type of material that the reflection is on. For example, for wet surfaces and metallic surfaces it works fine, but for example a mirror won't do anything if you try to cut it out with a CPL filter, because it's a different type of light and reflecting surface, which is not affected by polarized light. So you really have to see if it's suitable for the image that you want to take and capable of cutting out the light. The third con or disadvantage is that you add a filter to your lens and you're cutting out light. So you're losing light in your image, which has to be compensated by shutter speed or ISO. Now the use cases for CPL filters. There are three main categories that I really think use them a lot, and that's landscape photography. They really benefit by being able to cut out haze from a nice landscape or scene and really bring out the blue colors in the sky and in some of the forestry, more green, vibrant, saturated colors. So it's really useful for that. And also when you're shooting lakes or water or anything like that with heavy reflections, or even when it's just raining, you can really cut out the reflections on leaves or in water, basically. The automotive photography, that's mainly where I use it for. And it can really cut out light from reflections in the cars, in the paint. So that's how you really get these vibrant car shots without too many distractions and really pulling in the focus on your subject, which is the car at that moment. And then the third one, that's product photography. You don't hear it that often because, as mentioned before, it has its pros and its cons and its use case, but for me it has been really useful to be able to cut out the reflection sometimes where you just need the light, but being able to cut out the reflections with just a filter makes setup a lot easier instead of keep thinking about how to light or set it up. And it will add saturation to your image, which makes the products pop even more. Now I want to finish this video off with showing you the CPL filter that I use and how I use it. I only have one. It's this Polar Pro filter, and you just twist it on front of the lens. I will show you here with my 70-200. You just twist it on, and then you have two rings, and the the one on the outside is your CPL, which is twisting against the rest of the filter. So it's just when you're taking the image or setting up your shot, just twist the outer ring and you're turning your CPL filter and cutting out different parts of the light. One recommendation that I have for you is buy the largest filter you can find, or which fits your largest lens. For me it's this one. I even purchased a filter before the lens with this step-up ring. And it's a lot more affordable if you buy one filter and a couple of these step-up rings to make it fit to all of your lenses, instead of buying a filter for every lens that you want to use it with. It's really a cost-saving thing, and you only have one filter to really care about because these things are just metal and you don't have to be so cautious with them. And one final tip is always keep a rubber band with you. Filters get stuck, and if you have a white rubber band, you can place this on the filter and you can always screw them off again. And that is it for this video. I will now show you some examples of where I use this filter. I mainly use it for my car photography. So I have some viewfinder shots which you can show now, and I'll show you what the effect of the filter is and how it works. And here are some clear examples of me using the CPL filter. You can really see the effect on cutting down the reflections on windows here. And I have one more example where you can really see the grass and colors change with the saturation. And one more where you can see the sky difference. So that was it for me. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked this video. I'm also testing out a new audio setup. I have a Rode Wireless Go 2 microphone here, so let me know if this is better than the previous videos, or if you don't like it at all. It's all helpful feedback for me. I'm just trying to provide better content every time I set up a video. So yeah, thank you for watching. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Subscribe if you want to see more, and I hope you have a nice day.